Welcome to a busted play. An illegal use of hands to the face short.
Shaq Lawson on the move. Feels like he was just a Buffalo Bill the other day, and then he was a Miami Dolphin, and then he was a Houston Texan, but now he's a New York Jet. Jake, what does this mean? I mean, just give me some thoughts here because I mean this is a guy that we got to know a decent amount about, and he's just had an interesting career so far, and maybe how this affects the Jets too.
Yeah, Shaq's best year of his career was his last year with the Bills, and he went and got a bag with the Dolphins. And more power to him. I wish the Bills would have kept him, but the money that he was getting from the Dolphins, you're not going to match that when the way McDermott runs his defensive line is just a bunch of rotation. Goes to the Dolphins, has some down years there, down 2 years. And then this offseason, he gets traded to the Texans, right? Is this offseason?
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
he only had, okay, so 2016 he was drafted, so I think he played 16, 17, 18, 19 with the Bills, and then 2020 was with the Dolphins, yes, and I guess, yeah, that would mean that he was traded this offseason twice, which is kind of wild. That's actually how I remembered it, and I was like, man, he got traded before he even played a game with that team. He got traded twice, which is weird.
Yeah. Uh, and he's just trying to get back into that groove. And if there's a defense that he can really succeed in, it will be in Robert Sala's. Kind of similar to how the Bills have it, but not in the way it's just emphasis on pass rushers. And uh, the Jets need a pass rusher. So Shaq Lawson is going to be an immediate starter for them. He's probably going to be their number one edge rusher on that team. Now that Carl Lawson has gone down with that injury, and he's out for the season, they pick up a quality starting edge rusher for a 6th round pick. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I think this is especially important because of Carl Lawson, like you said. Um, just because of how much of an impact we thought he was going to have, and then kind of just like trying to go off the top of your head, thinking about defensive linemen for the Jets. The only other guy that I can really think of is Quinton Williams that'll have a big impact. So once they lost Carl Lawson, it was like, this at least helps to slightly alleviate how much that injury hurt them, but it definitely doesn't fill the mold fully. I just don't. It's better, but it's still not going to be enough to replace him.
No, but at least the Jets did what they had to do. That's one thing that going through this offseason and really taking a good look at teams, you could just see the teams that want to stay bad don't do due diligence and bring in guys when they need to bring them in. The Jets, they're not going to find someone that they can pick up. Oh, they can find someone that they could pick up, but cheap like they got Shaq Lawson. It's a drop off, but I wouldn't say it's so substantial of a drop off. It wouldn't be like losing a guy like Aaron Donald or even J.J. Watt, kind of, and then bringing in uh, some guy that you would think you could fish around a 6th round pick for. Getting Shaq Lawson isn't that bad. Uh, it's just you would like to have Carl Lawson.
Yeah, I mean, the funniest part of it is because they acquired Carl Lawson this offseason. I guess if you just still compare it to last season, it's probably a step up at that position. It's just from
Hmm.
Carl Lawson, it's a downgrade,
Yeah.
which is kind of strange. I mean, yes, but realistically, everything we've been talking about with the Jets, even though we're not saying they're going to be too good, you're absolutely right. Pointing to that point is like they've kind of at least addressed positions in the correct
Mhm.
manner that we would say we would like them to. I mean, even if we slightly disagree with the pick, like a pick like Zach Wilson, like we would have went with another QB. Well, yeah, you were going to address QB, so good on you
Yeah.
for doing that. Like even if we would have picked a different guy, and then even the rest of the draft, it seemed like they went out and got guys that we could really say, yes, like the positional pick. The only one maybe is kind of corner that's hurt them, but they had a lot of holes last year. So I mean they were like one of the worst teams in football. So
Yeah.
it's not shocking, but really really good offseason for them, and this does put them in a better spot. I mean, but just comparison's sake, I mean, just because you mentioned it, I have to ask you, who is the team? If there's one team in the NFL that you keep looking back to after the offseason And you thought when we looked at them, you thought they made some bad decisions, and now even more so, I guess you would say like, yeah, they made the wrong decisions. What would that one team be?
The Eagles.
Ooh, okay, okay. That's not who I actually think of. My first one that comes to my mind when we're talking about this is the Cincinnati Bengals, because I still think that receiving core is solid enough that if you have a top 5 pick, you should grab somebody that isn't a receiver. He's got drop issues now, which drop issues 120% are mental. So, like that's entirely mental. He's a completely capable receiver, but sometimes there's just things that start spiraling out of control, and it's really hard to fix them. I mean, I feel like everybody's been in some sort of situation where they can understand that issue, and it's just making it even worse because we already knew that they had at least decent receivers there, and they had other positions we thought were worse. And of course, one of our biggest meme players of the year was drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals, and Tyler Shelvin as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, those two things put together, along with like not really anything crazy in terms of free agent acquisitions, just because they never do anything crazy, except for swap out one of their defensive ends with another. Like one of the best, realistically, like statistically, looked like one of the best defensive ends in the league last season for a really solid defensive end, but still a downgrade. So it's not like they did it. Yeah, they're my pick though. And honestly, I don't really think anybody else is that close to them.
The Eagles' way of going about free agency, every pick after the Devontae Smith pick too, just I can't really get behind it. It just seemed like their whole mindset was, let's bring in value guys, kind of, but I didn't view them as value guys. It's just, well, these are positions that good teams have a lot of. It's like, yeah, but you're a bad team. So why don't you just bring in positions that you need then? And they didn't. They brought in a receiver, but if I was the Eagles, I probably would have drafted 3 receivers with my first 3 picks, and then after that, like def- defensive backs for the rest of the draft, and that's how it would have gone. It was
Yeah,
really, really bad for them.
yeah, I get what you mean.
No.
I guess the I guess the I guess the quarterback trade the other day helps it a lot. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I mean that helps boost the Eagles a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
you all set?
Yeah, we can cut this here.